Hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not, and welcome back to the Robocop review series, and we are on Robocop a tool. I seem blurry. Do I seem blurry? Maybe just my eyes. Robocop 2. First time watch. And it's not the first one, that's for sure. Its tone is different. It's a little more lighthearted tone, especially during a chunk where Murphy is reprogrammed to be all nice and everything. The whole dirty, gritty tone of the first film, Detroit felt like a dirty, scummy place. You get some of that here, but it's still not as scummy. There's a big scene before Robocop is introduced that has sort of sets up how grimy everything is, but then that's like the only scene that really does that. And then you have the commercial scenes like from the first film, but while they did a good job of parodying, certain things, certain aspects, certain meta stuff, the message and stuff, here it's, the first film it was, oh, we're going to do a commercial parody and kind of put the message in there. Here it's message first. Message. You might as well just have Damon Wayans or Keenan Ivory Wayans showing up as the mailman from Don't Be a Menace. Every time one of those musicals pops on and he just shows up and goes, message! Because that's basically what it is. It's just message in your face. Whereas, you had that whole thing with the game show or the board game. This thing, a fun board game, and then all of a sudden there's like nuclear war stuff, put in there. Here they just kind of throw the message in your face first. Yeah. I also feel like the characterization of Murphy is really taken aback in this. It's really toned down. In the first film, it was all about Murphy trying to find his humanity, trying to remember his family and all that stuff. Here, he's stuck in his wife, and then they basically force him to admit he's just a machine. And the whole thing with Murphy's family is just written out. It's like, oh, we're gonna follow him trying to get his family back. We're gonna kind of try to follow what that little cliffhanger from the first one. No, it's just sort of there and then gone. He's like, your husband is dead. I do not know you. And then she's gone. And by the way, Murphy's wife, she's like, oh my God, he's stalking me. And then when she sees him, she's like, Alex, is that you? It's like, she doesn't have an accent. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm just like, make up your mind. Do you not want him to follow you? Or do you want him to, part of me thinks that maybe she didn't know it was her husband until after everything happened. Maybe they didn't know that she didn't know the Robocop was Murphy. Also, I thought they moved out of town. I thought that was the insinuation. He's not leaving town to go see her. They're still in town. And why wouldn't they change her name to protect her? Just think about it. If the enemies find out Robocop is Alex Murphy, they can go after the family. Especially if they realize there's still some humanity left in. But all that humanity stuff is kind of thrown out the window here. You're just a machine. You're not human, sort of thing. Also, they completely changed the characterization of OCP. Yeah. In the first film, it was Dick. I want to call him Dick Halloran again. It was Dick who was the corrupt person inside OCP, But here, now in this film, OCP is just corrupt completely. The old man is some kind of criminal mastermind. In fact, Decker Shadow compared him to Mr. Burns and Smithers. He is Johnson, the black guy from the last film who had like a great smile on his face when Dick got blown away. He's like, and he has a bigger role in this film, and he's basically the Smithers to the old man's Burns, basically. But they turn him from the old. So it's a well-meaning guy charges this company who has one corrupt person to whole company is corrupt, and Dick was just the first one to get the ball rolling apparently. And they start off. Okay, so the film starts off with this criminal stealing a car. I'm like, okay, this robot claw thing's grabbing him. I'm like, whoa, Robocop changed his defense system. No. Or got an upgrade or something. No. This is one of those commercials. Problem is, unlike the first film, this didn't look like one of those commercials. It looked like it's part of the movie. They didn't put the TV screen on. They do it later with other stuff, but here it's just normal, which makes me think it was just to trick you, to make you think that it was part of the movie. Because then you have John Glover show up and say, like, Magnavolt or whatever, and I'm like, okay, this is another ad. I guess. I don't know. That's why I didn't like the little commercial things in here. Like, there wasn't one that popped right in the middle, like the dinosaur one and the last one that threw me off, but they're kind of unnecessary. You know who directed this? Irvin Kershner, who directed what most people say is the best Star Wars movie. I don't say. I think it's the third best. Empire Strikes Back. I never thought that thing was... It's a good movie, don't get me wrong. I just never thought it was the best. The original Star Wars for me is the best. I even think Return of the Jedi is better than Empire Strikes Back. I just like the cheery tone, which is weird because Empire Strikes Back has a dreary tone. It's a dark tone, and this movie has a big contrast of it's just so lighthearted. Like I said, at one point, Murphy gets destroyed, like, completely. So, before I get into that, though, let's talk about the villain. The villain of this film is Kane, played by Tom Noonan. And right away, when they showed him, I'm like, yes, this is a good casting decision. This is good. And he is a great villain. Until he isn't. So, OCP is trying to make the Robocop 2. They are using the brains of dead cops to do it. The only problem is they're committing suicide, taking helmets off, shooting themselves in the head. It's not working. So they decide to go a bit further and try to get those who just want the wealth and the power. And this leads them to Kane. Kane, halfway through the film, so first of all, we had this confrontation between Kane and Robocop. Murphy. Murphy eventually finds the hideout. We have, Hobb, played by Gabriel Damon, who's the voice of Littlefoot in The Land Before Time, and I know as Spot Conlon. What's the matter? You afraid of Brooklyn? I ain't afraid of Brooklyn. Spot Conlon makes this a little nice. From Newsies. He's little here. He's little. This is 1990, I think. He's little. And, yeah, he's a kid character that's kind of unnecessary, but he's one mean kid character. At one point, he takes down, why can't I remember her name? Anne Murphy. No. Anne Davis. Lewis. He takes down Lewis. Like, this is a grown woman, and he takes her down and runs off. Yeah. So, at one point, Murphy gets to the hideout, and it's basically a redo of the scene where they're basically trying to copy the scene where Murphy gets killed in the last one. Only he just gets dismantled, disassembled, as Johnny Five would say, disassembled, dead. Only he's not dead. They then throw him back outside the police station where they say it's too much money to put him back together, but eventually they do, and they completely change his protocol so he has to talk to people down and there's no violence. And I'm sitting there going, I thought Robocop 3 was the PG-13 dumbed down version for kids. Yeah, this does lead to some funny things, like him being nice to people or talking to people and reading a dead body its rights. Yeah, so this feels like it should be in Robocop 3 as kid-friendly. This store gets robbed by a Little League baseball team. Yeah, Lewis shows up, kills the coach, the ringleader of this, and Murphy starts reading its rights. You're reading the Mirandas to a corpse. Yeah, that was funny. I'll admit that was funny, but yeah, he eventually figures out he can reverse this by getting electrocuted, which gets rid of all his protocols, but does not make him go on a rampage. And so then he goes and confronts Kane again, and they have not left their secret hideout. They just went right back. The cops know where you are, but you just go right back. I guess that's a little bit of a plot hole. I don't know why they wouldn't leave, but okay. And Kane gets killed, or not killed, he gets hospitalized. He's not dead, but the corrupt robotics lady, Stacks? Oh, whatever her name is. Sax? Decides to use Kane's brain for the Robocop 2 program. And this is where Kane goes from being a great villain to... because for some reason, even though they showed earlier that he can talk, as Kane is a Robocop 2, he doesn't talk. The most we get is... He doesn't talk. And that makes him boring. That makes it boring. Why isn't he talking? You have Tom Noonan, who he was the freaking whatever killer, I can't remember that, in Manhunter. He was the creeper or whatever his name was. He was the killer, that guy in movie within a movie, Jack Slater 3 or 4? 3. It's Jack Slater 3. In Last Action Hero. He's a great villain, and you just decide to make it robotic. You don't have Tom Noonan read any lines or do anything. He becomes boring. And so then he goes and he kills his own gang, his own old gang, and that's when, the kid's like, it was Kane, and then they go to this presentation, and he starts just killing everyone there, and of course the old man's like, this is going to ruin us. It's going to ruin us. Don't worry, they found a way out of it. Then the Robocop shows up, and we get a very prolonged fight scene between him and Robocop 2. There's a big fight scene, and it's not bad. It's pretty decent, except it's just shooting and beating each other up, and there's an elevator sequence and all that stuff. Boring. There's no dialogue. Banneker was a great villain because he could do the action scenes as well as have great dialogue. Even the henchman, buy that for $1, great. Boring. It's just shooting. You get dialogue from cops here and there and OCP people, but no, it's boring. Shooting everywhere, yes, but boring. Until finally, because Kane, even though he has no stomach and no other bodily functions, his brain still wants the nuke, which I haven't mentioned yet. Nuke is this drug that never explain what it is or what it does. The only thing we get is there's a side effect of not making it right. It makes your teeth chatter. That's it. They don't explain what it is, what it does. It's just nuke, and it's bad. That's all we know. It's bad. It's bad for you. And apparently Kane is addicted to it, and that's his downfall, and he ends up destroyed, and yeah, happy ending. OCP gets off the hook, though, because they decide to blame the scientist lady, but don't do it in the movie. They're just like, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to blame her. She was the one behind it. She created it. It was her idea. She picked the person to put in there, and then they just get into a car together and drive off, and it's like, and they're like, and Lewis is like, they're gonna get away with it again, and I'm like, why didn't we see him blame her on screen? When he came out and saw her standing there, she'd be like, this is all her fault. She was the one, the whole thing, but we don't, they just insinuate they're gonna do it, and we don't see it. Why not? What's the point? To have the dialogue telling us how they're going to get away with it? Show us how they're going to get away with it. Have her get arrested. Say it was all them, all her, and have her get arrested for it. that, you know, that thing, right? I don't know. It's a bit of a letdown. Like, if you're gonna have corruption happen, let us see it. Let us see the corruption happen. Let it play out in front of us. You know, don't even have the dialogue. Just have Johnson go, "I have a plan, sir," and then cut to a TV screen that implicates her of everything that she did, and then have Lewis look at the screen going, "They're gonna get away with it again," and then you have Murphy go, "Don't worry, Lewis. We can wait. We're only human," and then end the film. They don't have to be right on the scene. You can cut them back at the station the next day or a couple of days later, seeing this on the screen. You know? It's show, don't tell. Right there. You know, it's a key show, don't tell moment. They just tell us how they're going to deal with it, but we don't see any of it. That's kind of a big disappointment for me. I kind of wanted more from that. And while we're at it, I feel like there's a lot of action scenes, but there's nothing gruesome like in the last one. Everything is toned down. It doesn't have that Verhoeven stamp like, yes, this is a Verhoeven film. Nothing. It's way toned down. In fact, you take out a few F-bombs, this could be PG-13. It is R, right? They do say the F-bombs. I know they do. Yeah, but if you take off a few F-bombs, if you take out all the F-bombs but one, this could be PG-13. The only reason this is rated R is because of the F-bombs. The first one, there are a million reasons why it's rated R. This, I really don't know, besides the language. It's one of those things where you go to a movie and you're like, okay, why was that rated R? Take out the F-bombs, it could be PG-13. And that's absolutely what you can do here. There's no, like, gruesome effects. There's even times where people get shot and they cut away from it. I don't know. Then again, there was a point in time where the MPAA was cutting everything out of R-rated films. Look at the Friday the 13th franchise. By the time you get to part 6, you can't do any gore anymore. Part 7 was drastically cut. And it just, you know, at least there was nudity in that. There's no nudity in here. At least I don't remember there being any nudity in this. You know, I don't know. I'm going to give it a middle of the road. It's not totally bad, but then again, if I'm going to watch a Robocop movie, I'm just going to watch the first one. It is fantastic. You should do the same. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on Robocop 2? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I like the look of Robocop in this. He's blue looking now. Or in the first one, he was silver. He looks blue now. And he has a plastic thing here that looks fine, but everything else looks like plastic too, so it's not really, But anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.